I don't want to put any pressure on anyone, but I've got a message from someone here that has got some sincere. No. Madam Genevieve has got some sincere disagreements with Lav.
Of course she does. She's gonna get on and literally actually do what Max has been telling me.
Okay, wait, this is great. We're playing this.
She's gonna get on and be like, I love sex. I love it. I love my fans. I love sex. I love fucking.
You guys mind?
I already told her to stop. And she's like, no, I need to get back on.
Okay.
I need people to know I have an OnlyFans.
Wait, this is a game show. Anytime you mention a streamer, they have to come on. I mean, so anybody you talk about.
Everything she says is nonsensical.
Right, Madam Genevieve. Let's listen. I feel like we're getting into the weeds of we're getting stuck in policy and boring shit. Madam Genevieve.
Yeah, I'm lost.
Right. Let's bring some sense to proceedings. What have you got to say?
Hi guys. I've been listening in, and there's so many different directions that this conversation has gone in that I've been wanting to comment on, but I think the best way to kind of just introduce is to say that obviously I am a sex worker. I do in real life sex work as well as OnlyFans for the past few years. And this is 100% by choice. I am college educated. I had tremendous traditional corporate career success for over a decade with very reputable companies. And I made the decision or choice to leave the industry that I was in and pursue working in the adult industry. And it's been the best thing that I've ever done for myself. So I think that there can be a lot of benefits to working in the sex industry. And we're focusing a lot on the negatives. There's obviously pros and cons. And I think that women going into the sex industry are smart enough to weigh the pros and cons, and most people will converse with other people in the industry. You know, they'll talk to friends who they know. They'll get some inside perspective before they jump into it. In my experience, everybody that I know has had a friend or a friend of a friend.
Just to say, if someone's on OnlyFans and they're going to get 5% of your earnings if they refer you, they're incentivized to just give you the link and not really give you much information, aren't they?
Well, there's incentive for them to give you information because your success is their success, right? So they want you to be successful so that they benefit from it.
They're not going to want to say anything that's going to put you off, potentially, right?
That's not been my experience. When I actually started my OnlyFans page, I did have a referral, and they're only good for the first year. At least I don't know if that's still true. I started my page in 2018. And so the referral code is good for your first year of earnings, and then it like expires or whatever. The person who introduced me to it gave me like a behind the scenes peek to her page, let me see everything that was going on in there, showed me her earnings, told me very honestly some of her experiences about it. Now she's like an active adult film star, like she's a well-known porn star, so her experiences may be a little bit different. But I also spoke with at least a dozen other people who are not professional porn stars and got their insight to it as well. So like I did my research before going into it. I was 31 actually. And perfect. I think obviously I'm older than we're talking about like a lot of 18-year-olds, but we give 18-year-olds, we've decided as a society, right, that 18-year-olds are at a point where they can make adult decisions. We let them join the military, we let them vote, we let them do all of these other things. This is just one of many adult decisions that they could be making, and I think that we're kind of infantilizing them to assume that they're not going to do any research before jumping into an industry. Like I think that's just kind of common sense.
You can assume that an 18-year-old does not know everything with common sense.
And they don't understand
the scope of having something permanent. Most 18-year-olds don't even realize they're going to die someday.
Okay, but can an 18-year-old understand the scope? Does an 18-year-old have the cognitive capacity to be able to understand it?
Sure, but how do you quantify that? I'm going to say...
Hold on. Rather than questioning if 18-year-olds should be in sex work, then the question seems, should we allow 18-year-olds to be considered adults at any level? Because this is just one of many adult permanent decisions that we're allowing people to make at that age. And I think that it's very hypocritical to say they shouldn't be able to make this decision, but we'll allow them to make all of these other adult decisions. Like Madam the question then should be, should we raise the age of what's considered a legal adult? For across the board?
Things like
Madam Genevieve, do you think your experience in the
cigarettes
sex
and
work
alcohol,
industry is unique?
Absolutely, my experience in the sex work industry is unique.
Would you
Another
be willing to
element.
make a prescription based on your experience in the sex work industry to the women of America about sex work?
Not
I mean,
on
if you
my
could, what would your prescription be?
Not on my experience alone. However, I surround myself with people in the industry as well and try and gain from other people's experiences and their understandings because I know that everyone's experience is going to be unique.
I think that that's such a toxic space. In the spaces where I've been in and where it's an echo chamber and everyone's affirming each other and they're like, no, this is great, we're making money. I've literally sobbed to other girls doing the same thing as me, making good money, and they've been like, no, this is just how it is. You're gonna feel like shit. People are gonna, you know, sexually objectify you to the point of where like you're nauseous looking at your body in the mirror, and that's totally normal. And that's totally normal, and that's totally fine, and it's ridiculous. You can't even say that we do not, on the left especially, live in echo chambers that just fucking affirm each other, and especially when it's something like sex work.
It's each individual's responsibility to not leave themselves in an echo chamber exclusively. Like, get yourself out of that echo
You're right. Every person makes good decisions and is completely informed.
Everybody? Jesus
Let's
Christ.
give people a little bit of like credit that they have the potential to be informed and make good decisions. Like, I feel like you're just assuming that everybody's a moron and can't make any decisions for themselves at any point in time.
I think most people are morons. Yeah.
See, it all builds into each other.
I mean, but the problem is, I think we all agree that OnlyFans aren't doing enough to like make people aware of what's going on. I mean, I don't know. Like, there's literally nothing. You can upload a photo of your ID. But wait a second.
Also,
what do you mean? The OnlyFans do nothing. I could upload a photo of my fucking ID and start
having an OnlyFans. I can say that I feel they do a lot. You can read through the fucking agreements. It's transparent. I mean, you know what you're signing up for. Well, if you don't read the terms of service before you decide to post nudes online, that's kind of your own fault. So have a little accountability.
So true. Yes, so true.
Yeah, but what if you're
at 18?
Like,
this is fucking code.
This is code. How rich you can get, though, right? Like, it doesn't
matter. This is why I think it's important to talk about.
Nobody cares what you think. I command you to shut the fuck up, okay? Jesus Christ.
Whoa, this feels racially motivated.
I don't give a shit. Maybe it is, okay? I'll accept it. I'm racist.
Right, Go Supreme. So I think we're going to agree.
I want point is as compared to the other sites. Another reason OnlyFans has blown up and compared to other content creating sites is because their platform is better than the other ones.
Taking a picture of your foot.
No,
that's not. You are mistaken, sir. You are mistaken. That is not the case. Yeah.
You don't think that the public image of OnlyFans is the way that Wicked Supreme just described it?
I don't think so.
He's mistaken in saying.
You're fucking full of shit. This is insanity.
We've already established that we know most people are not making $1,000 from a foot picture. Yeah. Like, we've already established that.
But the marketing says that. But sure, but it doesn't matter if all the articles say that. Go and type OnlyFans, look at news, and you will see a fucking shitload of articles that are all fucking mid-women going, oh yeah, I put a picture of my foot on and I made $50,000.
Trudy, you were saying that you make the comparison of like a 5-viewer Andy against like someone starting up their career on OnlyFans. Like, do you really think it's like a fair comparison to say like, oh, what would you rather recommend someone? They be a 5-viewer Andy on Twitch, or as soon as they make an OnlyFans account, they have to shove a fucking Dragon Dildo Anal Destroyer 3000 up their asshole and get spit roasted by 7 men? Like, do you think that's the entry level to OnlyFans, or are we like conflating that a little bit?
Well, sure, okay, that's a fair criticism, and you know, I agree with you. I think the thing is, the point I'm just trying to basically make is that you're giving away generally a lot more on OnlyFans, and you're going to need to give a lot more away at the lower levels in order to get any sort of attention, right? Whereas, like with the Twitch stream, you can probably.
I mean, can I?
Not necessarily. Like, that's one of the benefits of OnlyFans is you don't have to do explicit pornographic stuff. Like, I know people always think that everybody who's on OnlyFans is using this massive dragon dildo in all of their videos, you know, and all of these things. That's not necessarily true. A lot of women who are very successful, and I know very closely, are just solo nude models on OnlyFans. Like, I actually
wait. But wait, did they have a following before? Did they have a following before?
Well, I built my following from
on the other point that was made, it is appropriate to, obviously you're going to see more success if you do have a platform, or excuse me, if you do have a following on multiple other platforms. And I think that a lot of women who are on OnlyFans are not only on OnlyFans, they are also on other platforms. They're on all these other places, making themselves a public persona in that way. It's one of many.
That was the process, right? I started from
exactly, yeah. That's kind of the process.
I made a Twitter. I got.
What you you also said it was anonymous. You said that there was also a layer of anonymity. So what's true?
The layer of anonymity was like when I made my Reddit account, I had like a username that is not my name.
Sure, but now you're on OnlyFans and you're growing, and that's good because you make more money, and then now it's not in your fucking control anymore.
Well, I would never have like posted my face and everything if I wasn't seeing like a lot of success. Like I posted my face when I
exactly. So the incentive is success, and then you do more and more and more. I started off with just lewds, and then I got to fucking degradation shit because that's what people wanted to see.
So then we should have a conversation about being able to maintain your own boundaries and being able to enforce your boundaries.
Right, but the majority of people, humans in their civilization, have issues holding their boundaries.
That's true, and that's true in every industry.
Madam Genevieve, earlier you talked about talking about women like they were retarded babies. So I assume that you watch Destiny, and he had this whole stealthing argument where if you cannot, if you cannot,
can we not go to the fucking?
No. If your boundaries, if you cannot hold your boundaries, don't have sex, right? Just take yourself out of the equation. So why are we telling people that, like, yeah, you can, if you can join, like, if you can set boundaries, join OnlyFans? Like, I just don't even get the fact that we think that people can even have the wherewithal once they're in the situation to assert their fucking boundaries. Like, you shouldn't even be doing it. You should not be having casual sex. You should not be on OnlyFans if you cannot assert your fucking boundaries. No?
Well, I think that's where we disagree here. Is I believe that people do have the ability to identify and maintain their boundaries.
Just out of nothing?
You think that's impossible? No.
Not moralizing, and I'm not saying that like I said, when you share yourself with a bunch of people who care about you, it doesn't matter how many people you have sex with. Sex does not change you, right?
Exactly.
But it's that you are you are making money off of your oppression. The same reason why women are oppressed and raped and harmed every day, violence is committed against them, we are capitalizing off of. This does something to a human psyche. Like,
pick up your own way.
Embracing sexuality is not necessarily endorsing all of these other things.
This is sexuality. No. No. My separate. No, this is not sexuality.
I don't know how you ran your page, but in mine, I'm showcasing my sexuality. I'm an exhibitionist. I enjoy sharing these things. So you're lumping that everybody's going to have these terrible consequences
my own sexuality is separate to the one that I'm fucking selling for the masses. Like, you have to, if you have the most unhealthy relationship with your body and sex work, if you think it is the same, if you think that your sexuality on your own and your sexuality for a man, the patriarchy has you in its fucking grip.
Well, hang on. What if that's just true for Madam Genevieve? What if it's the same for her and that she has no shame about it?
It is the same for me. I own my sexuality.
I
mean, it's 100%.
She made the choice.
You don't own it. You actually don't own it because you are selling it, and then people can do whatever the fuck they want with it. You've believed the leftist lie. You've believed
a person doesn't own the fucking vacuum cleaners that they make, or anything that they make once they sell it.
Wait, hold on. I think, but even if she's in the 5%, she lived long enough and had enough experience to know that she's definitely one of those people that 5% who could do sex
also true.
Perfectly
that
fine,
is also true.
Right?
That you can handle it, right?
Yeah. Like, I said that in the beginning. I'm obviously an exception. I did get I want to talk about it. The reason that I want to talk about it publicly is because I do think that there are other women who feel the same way that I do, who might be younger than I am, and who might come to these conclusions earlier in their adult life than I did. And I think that putting a positive spin on it and putting not even a positive spin, putting a positive perspective, which I have, not entirely, there are definitely negatives as well, but being able to just speak openly about my experience is going to let some people who have similar morals and ideals and values and all of that to me see this as a valid option, which it is.
Absolutely.
I just want to remind everybody that I think it was William's channel asked Madam Genevieve for a prescription or advice to give to a young person, and her answer was literally, that's not my place. It's a journey. Mine is unique. Everyone's might be unique. So it seems like Lav, you're coming at Madam Genevieve for offering prescriptive advice. It seems like she backed away from that pretty early on.
Okay,
well, here's the thing.
She rejected the age 25 prescription. That's why we're pissed off at her.
Yeah, that, but also I think that
no, it's not. You're cringe.
I also think it's actually crazy how you think that, and this is my feminist view, and we don't have to extrapolate on it, but it's crazy that you think that monetizing your oppression is not a net negative for women as a whole.
Yeah.
LavLunee, have you?
It seems to me that you have a very sex-negative perspective,
LavLunee, do you have?
and I don't think that I'm going to be able to change your
Hold
mind
on,
on
I have a
that.
question for LavLunee.
Okay, right. Let's
LavLunee,
slow down a
any
bit.
perspective on work outside of OnlyFans?
We can unroot
Let's
this
pump
really
let's
quickly.
pump the brakes, guys. Come on, it's getting a bit too
We can
hectic.
unroot this really quick.
Just keep
Listen,
talking.
Madam Genevieve, do you think that the sex work that you're doing, that you're selling, is your oppression? Do you feel oppressed?
Oh my god.
I feel so free and liberated. I felt
Feeling
much more oppressed
oppression
when I
is
worked
different.
for a company that was a corporate one that determined how I could present myself, whether or not I could have tattoos, what color my hair could be, what color my fucking nails could be painted, if I could.
You're right, and now you're just selling. And
and
now all these people really care about you, and they just jack off to you, and then log off, and they don't give a fuck about you or women as a whole.
Right, Madam Genevieve, do you think
LavLunee, I promise you're gonna feel like an exploited piece of garbage number if you work any normal fucking job.
Yo, you're all adults. Can you please, for the love of God, go one at a fucking time?
Teacher.
Madam Genevieve, do you think that an average 18-year-old is able to make an OnlyFans account and like handle sort of the responsibilities and consequences that come from that? An average one. Take that as you will.
I think that people who are drawn to sex work have a lot of things that we can generalize about them, right? People who are drawn to sex work probably are somebody who has an issue with authority.
I thought that was a yes or
like
no, to be honest. That sounded like a yes or no. That sounded like a yes or no.
Yeah.
I can't comment on an average. I don't know what that is. Like there's so many people.
Hold on. That's a cop.
She literally said that she doesn't want to weigh in on this. That's her answer. Her answer, she doesn't want to answer.
I'm
there
going to
are
take that
certain
as
types
yes,
of people
I agree
who are
that
drawn
an
to
average
certain
18-year-old shouldn't do it,
industries.
but I'm not going to say it. That's what I'm going to assume that
Jesus
meant.
Christ.
God damn it.
Like, sorry, this is a very...
Even with informed consent, because Madam Genevieve seems to think that personal empowerment means the same thing as liberation or empowerment as a fucking whole. You can feel that something feels good to you. No,
it doesn't always,
dude,
but it can.
There is no way any woman selling photos of themselves or masturbating in public or doing any of these things is empowering for women. Sexual objectification is not empowering for women.
And enjoy doing that.
No, sexuality.
You're disregarding their experiences.
No, because you are equating personal sexuality. No, you are equating personal sexuality with monetizing off of your oppression.
I said it can be empowering. I don't think that sex work is inherently empowering all the time. I don't think that any job is inherently empowering all the time, nor should it be a requirement. However, for some people, myself included, it can feel like a liberating way to express ourselves, especially if we come maybe from a background where
I've got the middle ground between this.
Previously, or we had to downplay it previously. That can be empowering to take ownership back over it. Absolutely.
Wait.
It's not ownership. You don't understand that that's not ownership. I'm gonna kill myself.
No, it's all right. I've got the middle ground. Okay. Here's the problem. All right. I think people exploring sex work are often also exploring their sexuality at the same time. I think that everything you explore about your sexuality can be done without sex work being a component. I don't think there's anything inherent to sex work that's empowering compared to just being able to explore your sexuality in your own space or with people.
Then you've never made thousands of dollars off of.
That's economically empowering. That's different.
Actually, just because you make money off of it, it's empowerment. Oh my god, the capitalist lie.
You can have soy dripping out of your fucking pores all you goddamn want. But for some people, it's base. For some people, it's like, fuck yeah, I'm going for it. I'm down for it.
It feels more.
100% of women are not empowered at all by it. You're right. Fuck off.
Wait.
Everyone's around being objectified.
Let a misogynist.
I'm biting the bullet. Consider this: we ban all porn and give women a better alternative.
What?
The women who enjoy watching porn, like I watch porn all the time.
Yeah,
what
even in the most lefty communist utopia, there's still going to be fucking porn. Even if you have a UBI that is more competitive.
Yeah.
Well, we should both inform people. We should both inform people of the stigma that currently exists while advocating to get rid of that stigma.
Do you
it's
think
not about
that people
stigma.
are not aware of this?
Why is it not about stigma?
Because there's a stigma, and then once the stigma is gone, men get to, or men or anyone who consumes porn gets to like, you are actively getting something regardless of whether or not there's stigma. It's like, let's take the constraints off of like rape. Like rape is no longer a stigma. Like there's no stigma against rape now.
Hold on, we're talking about people consensually engaging in an action, which is 100% different than rape or a crime that's being.
We were just having conversation about how this cannot be informed consent. You cannot give informed consent to this because if you're fucking.
No, we don't agree.
He was talking about
I believe you can give informed consent
through regulation. Make sure that people are informed of what they're getting into. If you take away the stigma,
who is still capitalized? Like, you take away the stigma, this is still women's oppression. I'm actually disgusted with the fact that nobody is talking about how literally just because you are making money off of your oppression doesn't mean you're not fucking oppressed. It's ridiculous. This is like fucking Candace Owens making money off of the fact that she is black. She is still doing a net fucking negative.
The other thing that is specific, I think, is the fact that it's like, sorry, I'm very bad with my words. Like the parasocial relationship is kind of a key aspect of why people subscribe on a platform like OnlyFans compared to like paying for like a browser subscription or something. Like the reason that most people subscribe is generally, in my opinion, firstly because they're horny, but also a lot of people just generally like you as a person, or they have like a deep parasocial relationship and stuff. One of the
like they'll select an individual person.
Okay, but here's the
one
problem,
of the biggest ways that you advertise your account is by including.
Have you guys had interactions with men? I'm like genuinely wondering if you guys have ever when people are not paying for your porn, have you had interactions like online? Have you seen the way that men talk to people online or engage in porn? How many revenge porns?
Which brings us back to the issue of stigma and slut shaming.
I don't know.
That brings us back to the issue of stigmatization and slut shaming, which is really a bigger societal issue that we need to work towards.
Personal sexuality is different than capitalizing off of your oppression.
It doesn't. The cool thing is that that I have the choice as the person. Like if someone is being like a shitty like guy to me, I can just like I have the control in the situation as the owner of the account, right?
You're economically disincentivized from doing that. You're economically disincentivized from doing that. You're like the.
No, the people who are shitty to you are not the ones who are paying you. The people who are shitty to you are generally the ones who are trying to get stuff for free. So the ones who are like your good clients, the clients who are really supportive of you are kind to you.
Most men who watch porn are like, wow, I wonder how she's feeling in this moment.
They have to feel
like
She
loses I'm sorry, but I actually do care. I actually do care that they are.
OnlyFans is different in that way because it can give you a personal connection. It can give you a personal connection. And a lot of people choose OnlyFans instead of just going to Pornhub. People are choosing to pay for OnlyFans subscriptions because they do want to know this specific person or feel like they know this specific person.
That's also unethical, but whatever.
I was very careful when I was setting up my account to like make sure that like I didn't ever do things that like made me uncomfortable. And also like I went through a surgery for like over a month of no posting, and people were like, I don't know, people were still checking in on me like in my DMs on my OnlyFans account, like just checking in if I was okay. I use as weird as it is to say, I have like I vent to people in my DMs about like what's going on in my life and my thoughts and feelings. Like it's not really I don't know. It's not.
Like one of my best clients and I talk about video games regularly. Like that's we're not talking about sexual
These men do not have relationships with you.
Substantiate your statement, LavLunee.
I'm not selling them the relationship.
I'm going to make your point but better, okay? So I'm going to silence you. Okay, you need me to do this for you, okay? Definitely. Let me mansplain for you, okay? So whilst sorry, go on. What are you gonna
say? It's a reciprocal relationship, so like I get things out of it, and like so. The way that I view it is when someone subscribes to my account, they get the posts on my feed. That's what they get for the subscription. I think of my DMs as like if you're working at a coffee shop and a person comes into the coffee shop and starts like strikes up a conversation. And you speak to them.
It's like customer service essentially, right?
I just think, and there's a lot of things that I get out of having those conversations, and I think it's not necessarily like, you know, an exploitative thing. If someone messages me and shows me a picture of their cat, and I say, "Oh my god, cute baby." Like,
okay, but the thing is, you're looking at one side of that, right? What about the other side? There's going to be some guys that probably can engage with that fairly healthily, but there's also a fostering of a parasocial relationship that develops. That I think could actually be taken advantage of a guy potentially.
Right? Something to remember about bringing up
parasocial is try to minimize, because that does.
Right, we want to be transparent and we want to communicate our boundaries again.
Something to remember about parasocial stuff is not always
What I said was all we can do is try to minimize like the
Dude, that's a fucking ad. You're like, yes, buy my porn. It's like, are you here because you're like, I genuinely want to know, are you here because you're here to talk about like how OnlyFans affects people, or are you literally using this as an ad to talk about your fucking OnlyFans? Genuinely.
I don't have an OnlyFans.
Way too far.
I don't have an OnlyFans.
I think
I do not have an
OnlyFans.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the girls who are like, I love fucking.
Right, Lav, let's get right. Listen, let's let the
because you had a negative experience doesn't mean that everybody else does. You're assuming that your negative experience is going to be representative of every other single woman, and that's just invalid.
I get what you're saying. It feels like when we go to the problems of OnlyFans, it feels like you are pulling them like much broader than OnlyFans.
Yes, because one of the
big
problems with
personal
OnlyFans
experience with OnlyFans, that's what it's about.
Oh,
You
no,
discovered too late that personal relationships were really important to you and that sex was a big part of that for you.
No,
And you
it's
were
not
too young when
no,
you
it's
started
not
to know this
moralizing.
about
It's
yourself.
not. No, you're thinking, dude.
You are moralizing it. You're
I'm fucking
saying
not.
that the
I could've
introduction of
done
money
it.
makes it immoral.
Okay, then let's talk about fucking Madam Genevieve. She loves it. She fucking loves it. Never had a bad experience on it. She fucking loves it. Altogether,
I
do you
never
think-
had a bad experience.
Okay,
I just said
great.
I had more positive than negative.
Great. But as a fucking whole, that does not change the fact that people are literally like rotting their fucking brains. Literally, studies are showing that porn is a net negative for society, not because it's bad to see sex so bad.
There are a lot of lines that we have to draw. People are rotting their brains drinking booze. People are rotting their brains smoking weed, smoking cigarettes, eating unhealthy food, playing video games, watching bullshit movies and series and shit like.
I think the problem that Lav is kind of like comparing to is more like addiction to it. So you can be addicted
Which is
to
like an
other
exception, though. Most people who watch porn do not become addicted to it. Most people can consume it in a healthy way, like most other substances.
And also there are people who are very addicted by nature.
Anything you.
Well, yeah, addiction can happen with anything, but that's the exception.
Like,
the population that's getting addicted is an exception.
Water is a good example. You could drink some glasses of water. Water's great. Water helps you, right? But if you try to fucking drink a river, you're gonna drown. Like, it's all in moderation here. And I think that again, I would say that there are incentives.
The problem is regulation. The problem is regulation.
Okay.
What I was going to say is it's not that, like I said, it's not the fact that it is sex, right? It's the fact that we have no regulation. So I think even in my utopian feminist pipe dream, right, my soy pipe dream, I think that there can be ways that we can celebrate women's sexuality, women and men's sexuality. It's never going to be...
Why is it necessary?
It is necessary for the benefit of the entire.
Okay. Should we regulate it and make it necessary for when we buy bread from a baker, we give thanks to him and we respect him as a person?
No. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about more like a legal.
Okay.
sense.
Why?
No, but
why wouldn't you?
Why are you a human? Is not the same thing as a fucking loaf
A baker's
of
a human.
bread.
That's what they're
You're
not
not buying the
selling
baker.
their
You're not buying the
entirety of
baker.
themselves.
You're buying
They're
his
selling
services.
a service. They're selling media.
No,
in this
it's
instance, it's not the
just
same
a
as
service.
selling.
It is your body. It is not just a service. It is once you
It's my
put
body
a
when I
photo of
sell.
yourself into the ether. They
have to
can
use your body to
decide
make bread.
screenshot it and to do anything with it. That is your.
However,
your
I
intellectual
own the
property,
copyright, and I
Lovely.
can
When I
file a
lived in-
DMCA to have it taken down.
and you're gonna file every single.
I do. I
DMCA
file
regardless of
DMCA's
platform.
weekly. I
That's
file
just not the
DMCA's
reality.
weekly.
You'd
That's
actually be
just not the
surprised.
reality.
I
Loveland,
file them
you'd
weekly
actually-
and get them taken down.
You'd actually be
Period.
surprised
That's part
how
of being a
well.
good businesswoman.
Madam,
You'd be
Madam, I
surprised.
wanna ask you a
Wait.
question.
You'd be surprised.
When you make a-
Genevieve would agree with this. You'd be surprised how well an OnlyFans creator can keep their product off of like bullshit like X.
100%. Not only do I do my own
You'd be very
DMCAs, I do
surprised.
them for other top creators as well, and I'm very successful
Madam.
with it. I file hundreds every week and get them removed every week.
I do have a question. Do you get
This is not the
when
standard.
you make a copyright? Do you also gain any monetization because of the views that those videos were posted?
I'm sorry, I don't know that I understand your question.
Like
It
it
means
works
that
as an
you-
ad.
Yeah, like an ad, or do you make it like the amount of money that was made through the videos that were posted on other sites? Do you make money out of those videos?
This is
No,
what
I
have a
find
hard
that I
time
would
with.
lose money if I have leaks. Being able to control my leaks maximizes my earning potential.
I think he's asking if you are suing for damages.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
I have not. So mostly when
can't.
things get leaked, the person who's leaking them is not monetizing it.
It's not
Most
that-
of the
it's
time,
not
they're
that you
putting it up
can't.
there for free. So I wouldn't sue for damages because they haven't profited from it necessarily.
There's also no way to. It's like you have to buy a lawyer. Like it's so fucking annoying. You'd have to get a lawyer. You'd have to go through a long fucking process.
It's not that there's no way to. It's that there's a cost benefit. You have to know that like the
sure,
damages
no
that you
one's
get are higher
going
than
to
the
do it. So
costs
we
to go
can
for it.
talk about it, but no one's going to
Well,
fucking
it depends. There are certain situations where you could seek damages, like if
It's
shit was
extremely
uploaded.
difficult to seek damages.
Yeah,
Do you think it was appropriate to accuse me of coming here to show OnlyFans?
I think it's
the appropriate thing
inappropriate
to
the
do?
way that you and Madam Genevieve have talked about OnlyFans. Yeah, definitely.
Do you think do you think
Can I
okay.
can I can I speak? I'm gonna get off.
They've just
this one.
honestly represented their
Because-
positive experience. Like, what's wrong with that?
Panel
Should they
that's
not be
supposed to
able
be about people who are experienced with said
Can you guys
subject.
hear me out?
No, you're literally Chud Logic and I were literally talking about how this is like the echo chamber that people get into, and where they're like, "Oh, I can do this
Chud
because
Logic's
people."
Okay, but do you think that
Chud
in the
Logic's
times that
problem
I've
is that
spoken about
is yellow journalism. Is that OnlyFans is somehow making their way into making advertorial articles that are presented as legitimate journalism that is grossly misrepresenting people's prospects of the kind of success they can have on OnlyFans.
Sure,
It has
but it's
nothing to do
I
with
think WW wanted to say something.
You're all pulling off on this because I'm trying to.
No,
I still
because
haven't
you're
got-
sucking all the
Stop.
air out of a room full of
No,
fucking
not-
12 people. That's
no,
why.
I'm not.
Jeff,
I'm
this
saying,
has nothing to do with OnlyFans, buddy.
Answer the question. Do you
No,
guys
you gotta
acknowledge
do
that
this
there were
one-on-one some other
thousands-
time,
no,
dude.
Do
I'm
you
sorry.
guys acknowledge that there were thousands of hours of published human trafficking on
Nobody
Pornhub?
knows.
That is huge.
Nobody hears.
That's
about
not
this.
true that nobody knows. We do
I haven't,
know.
res-
It's a
I haven't
fact.
researched it, and that's not even the topic of discussion. We're talking about OnlyFans.
The conversation is consensual sex
The
work.
conversation is
OnlyFans,
on
consensual
sex work
people.
as a whole. Right? We
No, the
acknowledge-
conversation
hold
is
on.
not about
We
sex work as
acknowledge-
a whole.
We acknowledge that there are externalities to every other kind of work, but when somebody brings up a potentially like super catastrophic externality to sex work, now we are diverting the conversation into a yucky part that I don't want to address.
Because you're conflating two separate things.
I'm not
Sex
conflating. I'm
trafficking is not
identifying an externality to sex work.
Okay, everybody's identified the externality. You want to argue about a detail.
I think that there's also a lot of I don't know if this is necessary. Maybe on a large scale that it negatively impacts social relationships, but I think also one of the cool things is that there's a big community of people that you get to interact with who do sex work as well, and that's a pretty cool experience. I met like
That's
the majority
so
of my
awesome.
friends do the same
That's like
thing
the
that I do.
highlight, one of the
And
highlights of being in it.
Victims coming together is always really great.
Your
Is that-
sarcasm is getting so old. I'm so tired of every single answer you have being some sarcastic bullshit instead of actually responding to the claim.
The sarcasm is one thing. It's the fucking high and mighty self-righteous projecting of her negative experience on everybody else.
I think so a lot of the time
I already said I don't know if this is the average experience. I'm not saying that. I'm
I
just
think
saying
there
that.
are bigger themes, and I think there are little themes. I think there
For
are
sure.
bigger themes that we should keep in mind, and then we should talk about the little themes, right? Like when I'm like, okay, how much control do we really have over the fact that OnlyFans stays or goes? It's a net positive for it to stay right now, right?
For sure.
But in general, we shouldn't have it. It's an evil company. Like we shouldn't have shit like this. We shouldn't
it's
have
not going anywhere.
monetizing.
Not moralizing, by the way.
Always. It
I
always
think that-
has, it always will. It's never going to go away. This platform at least give the sex industry, it's always going to exist
not
in some
saying it-
form or another. So
No, I
having
even-
OnlyFans is probably the best platform we've seen so far in giving the creators control over their content.
Yeah,
But
realistically, I don't know
get
how I
complacent.
could
I don't think that we
monetize.
should get complacent. I even said earlier with Chud that I think that there's a really promising future where sex workers can unionize in in-person work, which is actually way more anonymous.
Welcome
where
to Chud
we
Nation.
can, put safety institutions in place where we can keep these women safe through a union, and there can be something very beautiful about sharing sex with someone in person. I think there are so
Some
many
providers, but not
social
for
negatives.
everybody.
I think there people who don't the fact that people don't understand that you are still selling sex, you are just not putting yourself in like physical harm, but there's still like the emotional part of you like literally sharing your body is like actually retarded. I can't believe that you're like, yeah, this is
I'm
completely
not saying selling
People-
your
this is-
body
this is
is
what I
how
mean.
would you say
This
that
is
an
why I'm so
athlete is selling their
angry.
body or like a
This is
coal
why-
miner is selling their body
this is-
because they're
yes,
having a
this
lot
is
more
why-
physical damage than
I think
somebody
I could have a
posting
re- I think I
photos.
could
This is
have
why-
a
this is
reasonable
why I'm
You're
so
angry because you have
angry with your
personal
point.
baggage to sort out, and you're
No,
taking it out
I-
on other people who
No,
don't have
I
the
get
problems
so
you have.
No, I get angry.
That's
with people
exactly
like
what's
Madam
happening.
Genevieve, who is lighting it up so fucking positively. And this is the
Yeah.
reason why women like me will fucking join shit like this, because they're like, I'm expressing my sexuality. I'm
But
doing
I
all of
think
this.
that
So my advice to women like you who are easily influenced would be to do your research and set some personal boundaries and then have accountability for your actions. I'm sorry you did something that you're not comfortable with. That was your decision.
If I could snap my fingers, and make every 18-year-old not retarded, don't you think that most of the world would do that?
18-year-olds make mistakes. That's part of growing up. Like, we're all going to make a mistake at some point. We have to instead empower people to learn how to make better decisions. That's the answer here. We have to empower people to do their research and make informed decisions.
So if you make the mistake at 18 to make an OnlyFans because your brain is stupid, and then you're 25 and you're like, oh my god, this was so fucking permanent, I didn't realize I was getting myself into this, that is going to happen. I cannot literally, the
18-year-olds who get stupid tattoos on their face and then have to live with that for the rest of their life.
Madam Genevieve,
that's less permanent than a photo online.
Wait, Madam Genevieve, I just want to ask a very quick question, Madam Genevieve, right? Madam Genevieve, do you agree, though, that in order to facilitate people being able to educate themselves better, that there ought to be some sort of restriction or some sort of removal of things that incentivize behavior against that, like the referral scheme, like this, OnlyFans pushing really hard the idea that you can earn shitloads of money? Like, do you think they should be more open so people can make better decisions?
That there is information representing both sides. I think that if somebody gets their information exclusively from the platform that they're looking to join, that's obviously going to be biased. If I'm looking to be on OnlyFans, I'm not only going to read what OnlyFans is telling me. I'm going to read from experiences of people who have actually done it.
Sure. In the cultural zeitgeist, do you agree that there's a very positive impression of OnlyFans that exists that goes beyond just being on OnlyFans platform?
Wait.
Welcome.
You think a positive? Wait.
That like society presents a positive depiction of it? No, I don't think that's true.
No, what I mean is if you were someone and you were thinking about setting up OnlyFans and you went out into the world to look at news articles, to look on Twitter, right? Do you think overall you would have an overarching positive representation of the possibilities on OnlyFans?
Profit-wise.
Like profit-wise?
I'm going to say you're going to find about a 50-50.
Oh, that's fucking bullshit. Nah, that's fucking bullshit.
Dude, this is one of my.
Have you guys talked to any other OnlyFans creators? Because that's the research that I do, is talking to other creators and finding out what their earning potential is.
How many?
Okay, LavLunee, don't soy about fucking anecdotes when that's all you brought.
When you're talking to other people to figure out what their experiences and their earnings are, that's a pretty good way to get a perception of what you're signing up for.
Okay, I think one of the problems is that there's this sort of resistance to what the general like cultural zeitgeist, at least on like Twitter and that, are relating to these issues. You brought up athletes, aren't they giving up their body and doing a lot more damage? Yes, but like for the athletics I'm aware of, the athletes that are successful are the biggest advocates for the athletes that have had a terrible fucking time and been harmed by the sport. Whereas it seems like when you go to successful sex workers and confront them with like the poor anecdotes, they're more of like, well, they should have known what they were getting the fuck into, and you shouldn't be trying to drag down or restrict my ability to do this or whatever based on that. Whereas at the NFL, you have an entire players association designed to reduce head trauma and acknowledge the harms of head trauma.
There are a lot of like platforms and communities created by sex workers that do provide support for people. So I think that's just kind of an ignorant take on your part that you're not a part of those communities, so you don't know that they exist, but they do.
No.
Yeah, Twitch has those, and they have
more women should know.
How many
more
people
women
make
should
them
be setting up LLCs on OnlyFans. Most of the women on OnlyFans don't even know what the fucking LLC is. They don't know how to get tax benefits from their work. They don't know how to write things off. They don't know how to do all these things. There needs to be things put in place so that you have to start an LLC to fucking do OnlyFans.
There are a lot of top creators that do offer courses on how to create LLCs, how to do these things, and they call themselves OnlyFans coaches, for example.
Sure, but let's put the burden.
Which is what Jeb is saying, that the creators should be providing more insight and info, and I'm saying that they are, that happens. That is already happening.
How often is it behind a paywall?
The culture should change. Yes.
I don't put it behind a paywall.
Should people be paid for providing service and insight?
It's a lot of work.
If you guys don't want,
right?
What I'm saying is,
if I go to an advisor on finance, I'm going to pay them.
If you guys don't want your industry to be regulated, then there needs to be some level of self-regulation involved where maybe,
I want the industry to be regulated. You're the one that doesn't.
I also want it to be
self-regulation is a fucking meme. Like, come on. Anyway, listen, this is just going to get into conservative.
The creators are saying they don't want regulation on the platform that heavily. I mean, it seems like they're the ones saying they don't want the platform that heavily regulated. I'm talking to them.
All right. In closing, I would say if you are considering going into the adult industry, definitely do your research by talking to other people who are in the industry. Sometimes you have to pay them for their time, but that's part of the capitalist world that we live in. It's important to research any decision that you're about to make because there are going to be consequences. But for people who weigh those consequences and decide to willingly enter into sex work, I think OnlyFans is the best platform we've seen so far, and that it does give the content creators much more control over their image and how it's shared online. They obviously own the copyright, as I mentioned. If anybody's interested in DMCA copyright claim takedowns, email me. I'll help you figure that out. It's super easy. And that's kind of all. That's my summary.
Right, and the final thing we're going to do is everyone's getting muted, okay? Because I've had enough of the one-sidedness, LavLunee. It's time for you to say your piece with no one able to respond, okay?
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Finally. So first I'm going to start this off with a response that is, there's no moralizing of sex. It's not that you're giving it for money. It's not the inherent way that you are giving sex for money that changes it. It is the way that you are monetizing your oppression in a greater sense. So the way that women are already sexually objectified, and the way that the only way they have money or they can make this type of money is to take that advantage of that, is wrong. It keeps those systems up in place, and it does nothing to abolish them or get rid of them. And it also hurts young girls. It creates pipelines into this, and it's a net negative. Also, I think that everything that Jeb said was also correct, and I think that you guys are being way too mean to him. And also, I can't wait for to click on the OnlyFans link that inevitably Madam Genevieve will put somewhere. But I am so stoked to be here. I appreciate being platformed. If you want to follow me and leave a hate comment, you can. My name is LavLunee with 2 E's on like pretty much everything. And I Twitch stream pretty much every weekday, and I just I yell a lot. But if you don't like my yelling, that actually is anti-Semitic and it's a hate crime. So think twice about that.
I don't want to put any pressure on anyone, but I've got a message from someone here that has got some sincere. No. Madam Genevieve has got some sincere disagreements with Lav.
Of course she does. She's gonna get on and literally actually do what Max has been telling me.
Okay, wait, this is great. We're playing this.
She's gonna get on and be like, I love sex. I love it. I love my fans. I love sex. I love fucking.
You guys mind?
I already told her to stop,
right back.
and she's like, no, I need to get back on.
Okay.
I need people to know I have an OnlyFans.
Wait, this is a game show. Anytime you mention a streamer, they have to come on.
I mean,
so anybody you
works,
talk
right?
about.
Everything she says is nonsensical.
You already mentioned Hassan, so now he has to come in here and defend himself.
Madam Genevieve, Lav once again was talking mad shit about you, so...
That's a trend.
I hate women. I love women and I hate women.
Yeah, I find it ironic that yesterday I said you seem to be sex negative, and you said no, you're not sex negative. However, you're out here like completely unable to comprehend the fact that me, a woman, actually does enjoy sex. Like,
no, you're so stupid.
Negative.
You're actually so stupid. Like the idea of you.
My bad. It must be because I'm a dumb slut. It must be because I'm a dumb slut.
Wait, real quick.
Yeah, you're right. I actually just said that. That did just come out of my mouth.
Stop. Can we try to do this without name calling? Because I love name calling, but if we do name calling, then the panel's going to end in 5 minutes. So
okay,
take a deep breath.
I appreciate that.
I think you equating this is the problem. This is the problem. Me saying violence against women in porn is bad, and you thinking that is women's sexuality, that I'm talking poorly about women's sexuality, is the problem. That is not a normal woman's sexuality. Your libido and your sexual appetite is so different from what you let men do to you. It's so different. These are two different things.
That might be the case for you, but that is not the case for me. And I think it's ridiculous.
I think that I just want to wake you up. I want to shake you and wake you up.
Like an ownership and an understanding of their own sexuality, and that they might actually enjoy it.
You don't own it.
Blows my mind.
You don't own it.
I 100% do.
You post
single
into
sexual
a website where they can
I
screenshot those
participate in
photos
is my
and put
choice.
them anywhere. You do not own it. These people
As
don't
we
care about
discussed
you. They
yesterday,
jack off
I
to you.
own, as we discussed yesterday in great detail, I own the copyrights to all of the content that I create, literally, legally. And I
Good for you. That
actively
means no
filed
one's doing
DMCAs on
anything
this.
bad with it. You actually,
I'm not saying nobody's doing anything
changed
bad
the
at this,
game.
but you are literally telling me that I don't own it, and I'm saying that's not true. Like
You own it in
it's
like a
mine.
legal sense. That means fucking nothing. The way that people
It means
like
that
Do you know what social
it means
media
that I have
is?
Okay, wait, chill, wait,
over
stop talking
how
over each other.
my-
Finish. Let each other finish. Go, madam. Go. Let each other finish.
It means that I have control. I have legal control over how my image is used and what content is put out, and that I am the one who has to authorize if it's used in other capacities. That's significant. That's way better than the porn industry used to be, where models or actors would get paid a flat rate and then the company would own that content and it could be distributed and used indefinitely in a million different ways, and the woman
I
or
know that's
actor or
better.
whoever is only getting just that one payment.
I know
me
that's-
owning my content is majorly beneficial.
Let me break it down to you. I know that this is so much better than the porn industry. I can acknowledge that, and that's what we came to on the stream. I know that that is so much better than the porn industry giving a woman $1.50 and being like, "Thanks for pussy." But this is what you are not understanding, and I tried to talk to you about this yesterday.
Jesus.
Is that so?
Condescension.
Have you ever like in your life had a man look at you as like a piece of fucking meat because you're beautiful, you have big boobs?
Yeah, I was sexually harassed multiple times in my corporate job.
Okay, so because of that, so now, okay, so your oppression exists, right? But now you're monetizing it. You're saying it's okay for you to do this, but you have to pay me for it. So then men are becoming desensitized to doing that. Do you think that's going to stop men from doing that to other women?
Wait a second.
Honestly?
Can I interject really quick?
Yeah.
The thing about sexual harassment is not that women don't like having their asses grabbed. They do. It's just that they don't want you to do it at certain times or in certain contexts and certain relationships.
That's exactly
It's when it's
a
unwanted.
great point. Here's this.
Yeah.
I like my body. I like being nude in certain instances, but I want to say when those instances are and who gets to participate in them. I don't want to have my ass grabbed when I'm in an elevator, going up to my office. If somebody wants to offer me money to pay for nude photos that I took of myself and I like the way that I look in them, that doesn't feel oppressive to me. I don't see where the oppression is.
If you wanted to do that for free, honestly, that would be different than you monetizing.
Why do you think that people shouldn't be paid for their art?
Your art, I'm gonna throw up.
Or their content in any capacity.
Dude,
Why do you not pay for your content creation in any capacity? You don't sub to people that you watch on YouTube or Twitch.
If you think that watching someone stream is the same thing as watching a woman masturbate or have sex, you are brain dead. I can't help you. I can't wake you up.
So remember how we weren't going to call each other names, but here you are continuing to call me names.
Can I interject real quick?
I'm a very mean-spirited person.
Hey,
let the men speak. Let the men speak.
These women fucking talk over us men the entire fucking time. It's so disrespectful. Listen,
I grew up in a Jewish household.
Okay, here's the question for both of you. Both of you seem to be like, oh, it's so great that people do OnlyFans instead of the old models of doing porn sites. And I actually wonder if that's true. Now, hear me out on this, okay? If you were to take 1,000 people who join OnlyFans today versus 1,000 people who went the traditional route of maybe going to Bang Bros or one of these other studios, who would be more successful? Because my understanding is that the vast majority of people that go on OnlyFans don't make money, don't make go through all of this. So aren't you literally better off if you don't do OnlyFans? Or at least
you're better off if you never do sex work.
Wait, stop. Hold on. Does anybody here have experience in the traditional porn industry?
Yes.
Not personally, but I have several close friends who work in the traditional porn industry.
I have
I'm going to do a quick
experience.
anecdote. You are man.
yeah,
might
you
be a little
do.
different. Stop. Shut the fuck up. Seriously, hold on. Because this will trigger the fuck out of me. Okay. So the stories that I've been told by porn stars that I was friends with was when it came to porn industry stuff. Unless you are like a top billed actress, you are churned and burned like crazy. People will film one or two scenes with you. They don't give a fuck about you. You're probably gonna blow like 50% of your paycheck on fucking drugs the next night, and your life is shit. It's horrible. That type of churn and burn, even for a girl that's not successful on OnlyFans, is not even remotely comparable. The worst case scenario on OnlyFans is like nobody buys your content and maybe your asshole's out there forever. The worst case scenario in the porn industry is your agent steals 90% of your shit, people are fucking raping you, and you're doing crazy fucking drugs you're getting hooked on, and your life is fucking over because you can't book anything else. Like, I've heard a lot of horror stories personally from porn stars, so I don't like that comparison. Just
do you have any more personal anecdotes that you want to throw in there, Steve, or any facts that you want to pepper into that?
Well, my favorite porn star is when I used to film myself fucking your wife in your bedroom.
Oh,
That's
well,
my favorite porn I've done, Dan. It was
when
great.
I was fucking your mom, she actually she was in the porn industry, and she told me something completely different. She
Really? Tell me what she said, Dan. Go ahead, tell me.
She said that basically her whole life was set up as a result of going into the porn industry.
It's crazy that men don't mature past like 13. I think it's really beautiful.
Just as like a quick thing onto that, okay? And if Genevieve or even Lav, if you guys have heard different, feel free to tell me. But like, here's a couple differences between that, okay? So one, the people that are doing really well, like if you're working for like Bang Bros and you're one of like the stars, you're a top one of a 1%er. Like if you're on OnlyFans and you do some work and say you don't make so much money for it, you know, whatever, fine, fuck it. You take your shit down, you're done. Hopefully people didn't save it. Hopefully people don't spend it. Maybe they do, but whatever. But if you do an official shoot, somebody's cutting you, and dude, there are videos that I still watch today. Sometimes are porn videos where the actresses got paid like $500 for a shoot, or maybe $1,000 for a shoot if they were like pretty popular. And those videos, they don't own that. The company that paid for that, they own it forever. They can distribute it forever. The girl can never take that down, can never buy it back, can never do anything. I would argue that in terms of ownership of your content, that model is a lot more scary than just doing OnlyFans and failing. From what I've heard, and maybe other people have heard.
I think that's true.
So my thing,
that is 100% the point that I've been trying to make here. If you are somebody who is wanting to go into the adult world and create adult content, be it pictures, porn, whatever the case may be, being able to own that, and the fact that OnlyFans gives people that ownership now is a huge improvement from the previous model.
Have you gone to court because of this? Have you ever sued anyone for releasing your photos?
So we talked about this yesterday again too. I file DMCA claims when I find them leaked, but I'm not suing people. No, they get taken down. They get taken down. I don't want them leaked. What if I want people to find them only through my site. If
you file a DMCA for any site hosted in the United States or most of Europe, it will get taken down.
Yes, I've had success.
You know, the funny part about this whole thing is typically to actually have DMCA rights to do a takedown, you're supposed to file every piece of content that you make with the Copyright Office. Did you guys know that? And if you
I've never heard that in my entire life. I'm almost positive that's not true.
You have to now. Sites are telling you.
Bet me money. Bet me money. $100. Don't look at that. $100. Do it.
$100 because I've not done that, and I have DMCA successful responses in my email right now.
No. That's not what he's asking. What he's saying is if somebody counterclaimed the DMCA and you went to court, would you win the court case? I'm almost positive you don't have to file. I'll bet you $100 on that.
All right, we're on. Let's do it.
We'll look it up sometime. Places like Reddit makes you prove the fucking copyright.
No, it absolutely does not.
It does. Unless you master.
Don't trigger me.
Unless you talk to the moderator. This has happened to me.
It has never. It has not happened to you. It has not happened to you. It has not happened to you.
You're fucking lying.
Or you're not filling the form out correctly then, Lav. If you fill the form out right, you don't have to do it.
It is literally part of the safe harbor provisions that you do not have to prove.
I will actually kill you over this. I will actually kill you over this, so I don't want to talk to you about this anymore. But regardless, with that, even though so you're just gonna have to keep filling out those fucking reports, and then people are just gonna keep doing it. Now you are still like, it doesn't even matter. It's like for the amount of time before you even realize it's out there, people still have access to it.
Can I just interrupt real quick? Say, Max,
what the fuck are we talking? What the fuck are we talking about?
Copyright online.
He sees no value in me owning my content versus me
That's
working
fine,
for an
but now
industry
this has
or a
nothing to
company
do
that
with
does.
Lav's opposition to women having sex or whatever the fuck it is, and there's
Can I
nothing
just
to do.
Now we're getting into semantics.
This panel was a lot calmer before the women joined. I just want to point that out before we continue.
Let me recenter. So part of the reason I think that you have a very unique experience, Madam Genevieve, because you also did this when you were like older. So I think that part of the insidiousness, the heinousness of OnlyFans is that it's advertising to like freshly 18-year-olds, people who don't know what the fuck they're signing up for.
As does all of the sex industry.
Sure, and that's why I hate the fucking sex industry. But also,
and all of entertainment online too, like Twitch and YouTube, and
right?
all these sites you can make money.
To have your naked body out as a woman, Steven, don't even do this. Like,
if
it's
women's
so fucking different.
if women's brains,
wrong guy there.
Okay, hold on. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go a little hard on this. No, I'm sorry.
No, I'm not done. I'm not done. Stop silencing women. I'm not
Hold
done.
on, having a naked body out today on the internet is nowhere near as big a deal as it used to be when I was growing up.
And then
Okay.
also, sure, and that means fucking nothing because you're fucking 62 anyway.
No, that's not true. No, that's actually a good point.
Most. My last problem with you is that I think that people who are successful on OnlyFans have a duty to publicly critique it and not say things that are positive about it. I genuinely think that we have a duty to women to not talk like, I love this, it's so great. Like, I think that we should fucking gatekeep girl boss the fuck out of it. Like, because I hear one good thing, I'm 18. I'm not thinking about the fucking rest of my life. I don't even know what death means yet. I'm 18. I'm like, I'm gonna live for fucking ever. I don't know what this means. I hear one good thing, money. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care as much as whatever.
Okay, we get the point. Couldn't anybody say anything about like high school sports?
That was really condescending, Steve.
Well, no, I don't like the same point repeated like 30 times. We understand. You hear it as a young person, and you're tempted to go into it. Isn't this the same if every kid that starts playing high school like football or basketball? Isn't it like the same thing? Like you can join the NBA, you can join the NFL, like.
I think the problem is it doesn't matter. You can say as much as you want. People should talk out against it. You know, that's not going to.
Should you talk against doing sports in high school and college then?
Yeah, of course. But that's the thing. It's just a very broad sentiment. It should be a broad sentiment. It doesn't do anything, right?
Okay.
You know
so
what we need. Sorry, go on, Mr. Go.
Our women's brains develop a lot slower than their bodies. Right.
That's true.
That's and men too. But so that's part of what we're talking about, right? Where the age at which people want to pay the most money to look at you naked, you are less equipped to understand what that really means.
Exactly.
I think that you could probably acknowledge some of the counter arguments being made. Like, I think Stephen is right. Most people now do take pictures of themselves naked.
Most?
Like we all.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Most
people are sending nudes in some context,
right?
Sure. In some capacity.
And so
I'm just saying that like on what Max is saying, like it used to be a really big deal a long time ago if nudes got leaked. That's like the end of the world. These days, I don't think it's anywhere near like that. Go ahead.
No, not even close. Because even if everybody doesn't show their nudes, everybody has them and has seen picked nudes of their partners and some of their friends.
I think this is also a problem, though.
Maybe you think it's a problem, but it's certainly it is also. It's not. It's certainly.
I'm extremely sex positive. My whole platform is about sex positivity.
That's not true, Lev. But it's extremely destigmatizing. It's
I don't think women can enjoy sex.
Sorry, Max is getting. Okay, wait. Let's
before I jumped on.
Hold on, wait. Let Max finish.
I love having sex. I hate having sex in which someone thinks they can be violent. I think that there are so many things in play. There are so many things in play.
So if I could respond to your last problem with me that you stated a few minutes back, that you think women should be giving fair representation, so on and so forth. That absolutely happens. The majority of my friends and people that I interact with also have OnlyFans or do other types of sex work, and we do trade stories about some negative experiences. The reason, however, that I don't think that needs to be like the primary headline as you're making it is because for me, and since we're here talking about our experiences, it has been more positive than negative, and I feel I have more control over how I can respond to people who talk to me or treat me in an inappropriate way than I did in other work situations.
Sure. I also think that you have to acknowledge that you were in such a unique situation in starting at the age that you did.
Did I not acknowledge that like 17 times?
No, but so this is what I mean. Like when you are giving out prescriptions or when you are saying, I love sex work, and like people who follow you, if any woman sees this, any 16-year-old, 17-year-old, 18-year-old hears that, they're not going to give a fuck about any bad thing. They're going to think, oh my God, she loves it. She makes so much money. They're not going to think about your age. They're not going to think about your confidence. They're not going to think about anything like this. They're not even going to internalize that feeling. They're just going to be like, money, going for it.
Well, that doesn't
if
make
we're going to
sense.
treat people this stupidly, this sounds like a little
Dude,
bit like insane.
If this was with boys,
kind of the
boys
point
are
I
this
was making yesterday as well.
This is not like an infantilizing women thing.
Yeah, but there's no.
Stupid at this
but
age.
what you're saying doesn't make any sense.
You are infantilizing women, though.
Oh my God, you're so right. That's my whole platform. Is I don't think women should speak, and I'm.
Well, you're basically saying that like if a woman hears that like, oh my God, I can make money at 18, I'm so fucking retarded. I can't think of any potential negative downsides. Like, in fact, not only this,
the military, perfect foil for men. perfect
Hold
foil
on,
for
the
men.
military is
And
not
I'm
a foil.
completely
Hold on,
against
wait, hold on. The military is not a foil. The military can offer you a fuck ton of benefits as a young man, especially if you're looking for discipline, especially if you're looking for education. So no, that's not even a good example. Number one. Number two,
It's
I
the
don't even
closest
think
we have.
No, number two, I don't even think this maps onto real life experiences. I seriously doubt there's ever been a girl who's like, oh, I'm gonna start an OnlyFans that I don't think there's any negative downsides at all. I'm sure there's a lot of consideration that goes into thinking about the pros and cons of it depending on what's going on. I doubt that they just like, oh, I heard somebody say something good about it and I'm gonna do it thinking there's no downsides.
You're
I'm pretty
being
sure
so
most-
Really are
charitable.
going to
It's
go and
actually
reach out and
insane.
talk to other creators. And if somebody does
Yeah, they're
reach out to me,
friends.
then I'm going to talk to them and tell them, like, you know, why do you think this is something that you want to do? Are you working in the adult industry in some other way? Like, what do you want to do in 20 years? Like, I'm going to ask them those questions.
Have you collected your
No,
last
I don't-
payment from OnlyFans?
Have I collected my last payment?
Like, do you still
I
have
don't wanna
another
go into
wire?
semantics.
Do you still have another? Do you still have another? Do you have another bank account transfer coming? Because it just sounds.
I
This
don't
just.
know how it
This just
Tap,
kind of.
you need to get out of the 747. Sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know how it works. It only gives you a certain amount of money through the month.
Okay, I'm just saying, isn't all of this a little come to Jesus evangelism where like you just are now saying this shit when you still essentially work for the company?
Your
You
account's
haven't
still active through the end of the month is what you had tweeted a couple days ago. Is that correct?
Yeah, so
No,
For
so
your
everyone who
existing
bought it.
subscribers,
So,
for your
only,
existing
so I don't want to
subscribers.
talk about this because I don't want people to find it. I really don't want to
Just
talk about this because there are things that go into it. I don't want people to find and go looking for my OnlyFans right now. I don't
please
want
don't
to
give
talk
me
about shit like
$20.
this. No, if you I've completely.
Why don't you just
changed
wait? Why don't you
everything.
wait? Why don't you raise the? Why don't you raise the
I'm
price? Why
only
don't you just
saying
raise
what
the
you
price to
tweeted. I'm not trying to
$20,000?
I'm not going to
anything
talk
else.
about this anymore. I'm not going to talk about this anymore publicly. Max, if you want to ask me questions about you, I will tell you in DM.
I
but
don't
I'm
have
not
any
going to answer that
questions.
question here.
Obviously, I'm just asking a question to kind of bring. I'm not. It's not a real question.
I just think that there are certain things that culturally we can start to shift as we have conversations like this. And I fear that we are not doing it enough and we are like failing women by not having these conversations.
So
That's
you
the
said
that's
you're
my,
saying that like you're saying that like all
I
forms of
have to be
non-consent-
extreme. I have to be
Hold on,
extreme
wait,
so that
but do
people
you
start
think-
thinking.
But hold on, but you're trying to say that like all forms of consent, non-consent are immoral or unethical.
Here,
It's a pretty extreme position to take.
Okay, well, I think that like a rape fantasy is like, yeah, that's fucking ridiculous. Don't do shit like that. It's like you're making a mockery out of victims. I mean,
You're
that's
saying. You're
disgusting.
saying.
Hold on,
When you
wait, hold on. You can be against it, but don't say you're making a mockery out of victims. That's just
You
not
are.
true. You're
You
not.
are.
You just don't
Good.
understand the kinks, I think,
Yeah.
here is I just don't think you have a good understanding of it.
Why would
vanilla.
someone have
Too
a kink
vanilla.
like that? Why would someone have a kink like that?
There can be a kink like
Because
that for a variety of
Sometimes
reasons.
giving up control can be like a mental turn on.
Okay, so you can tie someone up. That's not consent, non-consent.
First of all, tying
there are a
someone up
lot
is
of-
almost by definition consent, non-consent, depending on how you're practicing it.
No, it's not.
But, like,
That's just fucking
That
consent.
can be an
Yeah,
element
okay,
of it,
so let me
certainly.
clarify. Let me clarify. I think non-consent is like rape play. So if you are saying, I want to act like I don't like this and be like, no, 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 I want to be able to bat you off and you keep doing it, that's fucking disgusting. No should not mean harder.
Wait,
no
can
should
you-
not mean harder.
Okay.
You know, when Genevieve says that I don't like sex, I fucking love sex. I love having sex like this. I'm a fucking nymphomaniac. I love to do stuff like this. The problem is that I understand that I can separate that from capitalizing off of women's oppression. Like that is the big wake up moment, is that you can have your own sexuality that is just yours without the male gaze looking at you, like without feeling the pressure of it, like without, I mean, obviously in feminist theory you can never fully do that, right? Whatever. I think that you can,
My
at least internally.
sexuality is being looked at though. Like that is part of what I enjoy about my sexuality.
Okay, then the patriarchy has made an example out of you.
I think that
I
there's
think
no way.
that's-
There's no way to
okay,
have a
okay.
conversation if every time
I'm very oppressed.
If every time Genevieve says something, you say that she's not actually saying it, then there's no
No.
reason. Like there's
No,
no.
I think that
possible
she means that. Like I think, I mean, to some extent, like I'm an exhibitionist too. Like I get it, but I also think that that can even be different than like monetizing off of it. Like I even think if you're a sex worker and you're like doing in-person sex work or something, or even like if you're entering like an orgy situation, like a consensual orgy situation, a party, and you're exposing yourself to all those people, I feel like you will still get the same thing, but not like the added like degeneracy that is like.
So you think in real life sex work is less degenerate? Because I mean, I do that too, and I go to orgy parties. Like all three of the situations you've mentioned.
Yeah,
here,
so
I'm
like an
applying to.
orgy
So
would
how
be
much
your
of a
personal
degenerate am I?
sexuality. Yeah, so an orgy would be like your individual sexuality, whereas like if you are showing it to like the world, you're participating in like a wider, bigger conversation where people who don't understand that about you get to sexualize you and degrade you completely. It's completely out of your control.
There are people who are offering me money for media that I'm creating. That feels very much within my control.
Sure, but the media is making yourself an object. Like, I think that you think that these people like care about you, and they don't. They jack off to you and they log off.
I think
That's
it's
not
anything.
true.
It's
you can
women
literally
taking
look at my
advantage of men.
messages. Like my clients, my best clients and I have much more of like a virtual girlfriend experience. And I think that you're convinced that every single person
Well, there's
on
the
OnlyFans has
parasocial.
your experience. I think that whatever your experience of must be or have been very different than my experience. And I think that most
talk about my
people who are
experience.
successful on OnlyFans have success because they're interacting with their top fans, right? Like there's kind of like this person feels like they're getting to know me, and they are. We talk about video games, we talk about our favorite restaurants, we talk about what movies we're seeing. Yeah, we also exchange sexual content too, but like it doesn't mean that I'm not interested in him telling me about his day or whatever. Like I'm genuinely curious. It's the same as customer service in another job.
Let's Genevieve.
The things I'm gonna do to you.
Genevieve.
Yes, Max.
And let's tone down the threats. God damn it. No. Genevieve, is it true? I've heard that and experienced. I've only really had one sex work client myself. But he wanted to talk about his parents, his childhood, his life. And I did not do my advice and confessions thing. I was not very open to it. I was just kind of like, okay, sure, yeah, okay. I almost like didn't really say anything, but it just became clear slowly over time, like this isn't about the hand jobs. This is about you talking, isn't it? You just want to talk and talk and talk, and like the sex shrank, or sexual part of it shrank to like 2% of the time, and it was 98% talking. Without, denigrating your clients or your work. Does that resonate with you?
Do you think that there is a specific type of client who is looking for a relationship that is primarily based on talking and dialogue? Definitely. I like to do everything in my power to control the situation and the conversation, lead the conversation away from things that would be like their traumatizing childhood or like their relationship with their parents. I don't really engage in those conversations. But
they want to.
I do want to talk about more like day-to-day stuff, or like where are you going on vacation, or you know, things like that. Well,
because it's like adding a whole nother job to your job.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I imagine
That's
there's
not
a lot.
Something I'm qualified for.
There's probably a lot of OnlyFans workers and sex workers who are talking a lot about men's childhood traumas, past girlfriends, ex-wives, their kids, their jobs, right? I imagine there's like a super big overlap, and they probably do also genuinely care about those things on some level, right?
Yeah, I would say probably there are situations where that could be the case. I think even like I know women who are much more successful. OnlyFans is not my main hustle. Like there are other things that I do as well. It's like a side hustle for me. And I do decently well on it. It's great, but it's not like my only source of income. But I do have friends who are like in the top 1 or 0.5% or whatever. And I've seen their DMs, and they still do have those interactions with like their top 1% of clients as well. Now I know that's not for everybody.
Well, don't some
but I
outsource
think-
it? Don't some of them outsource it to like some Indian fella in a call center?
I've heard people have tried that, and their clients could tell, so they stopped it immediately. It's a pretty they do a terrible job. So like there are companies who offer to like answer your
Wait a
messages
second.
for you. It's
Quick
shit. They do a
diversion.
shitty job.
Would that be some form of, I don't want to say like rape, but is that if you're convincing someone to do that, is that a rape?
That's a
It's
sexual
completely
violation.
unethical.
Absolutely.
Wait, is what unethical? Sorry, I had to look up something to prove down.
Hiring somebody to pretend to be you to answer your DMs on OnlyFans.
They call themselves like OnlyFans managers sometimes or whatever.
Hold on a
like...
second, real. What's up? You cannot bring a suit for copyright infringement without first registering your You point this shit and it says you're wrong. Just sit the fuck down and read
Hold on, man. You can't do it. Hold on. You can't get statutory damages, but it is possible to get actual damages and profits in a suit involving an unregistered copyright. Actual damages profits are the actual money lost or potentially lost by the copyright owner, the money gained by the individual using the work. If the copyright is registered, it's possible to receive statutory damages.
Fast?
No, I'm just saying, read it. There you go.
You're wrong.
Boom.
You're wrong.
Like, there you go. Boom.
He's like
there
out there looking like technically.
Stop. You're derailing. You're derailing.
We'll do that. You're right.
Anyway, my understanding is that it's you're wrong.
You're
It's okay. It's okay. My understanding is that all of the top, if you are DMing a top OnlyFans girl, so a girl with like thousands or tens of thousands of subs, chances are you're working with somebody managing her channel. You're not actually talking to the girl herself. You're talking with somebody representing them, basically. Yeah.
I wanted to talk about, because Max, I think that what you said earlier was important. I think that we should talk about our feelings. I obviously posted a YouTube video about the full story, but I'll share a little bit here. At the moment where I was like, these people don't give a fuck about me, is literally last year. I had a near-death experience. I went into cardiac arrest because I was drugged with meth at a party, and I didn't know that I had an underlying heart condition. I was gone. I was in the hospital for 3 days. And I came back. Well, one of the first things is like, I was like, okay, I'm going to die. And Connor, my fiance, doesn't have like access to my OnlyFans.
Sorry, Lav. Quick question.
Who asked? Oh, sorry.
Let me finish. My fiance didn't have access to my OnlyFans. My naked photos would still be up. I'm not living my life. My sexuality is not mine anymore. I'm monetizing it. It's for men. I don't get to like the things that I like because I'm performing for men. And now I'm gonna die, and these photos are still gonna be up. I'm gonna have no fucking control over it. Worst case scenario, these people don't give a fuck about me. I mean, they've already leaked my shit all over the fucking place. Like, these people don't give a fuck about me. I'm going to become a fucking viral thing on fucking Twitter. People are gonna be like, fap to this dead girl. We've seen it fucking happen before. Best Gore is known for this shit. And I was just like, oh my God. And then I came back from my hospital stay and people were fucking angry with me, right? Like, they were like, I'm not getting my money's worth. And I was like, oh my God. And then I got my heart surgery. I was like, I'm taking a week off. And they were like, why are you taking a week off? I paid $20 this month. So then, whatever. At this point, I'm already like, I fucking hate it here. I go on this week to delete it. I go on to delete all of my posts. I see a post I made when I was 19. I had just relapsed on self-harm, trigger warning. And I say, like, I'm so sorry. I've relapsed on self-harm. I don't want to post photos of my body right now. I understand if you're upset with me and you want to not pay for next month or whatever. And the amount of messages that were like, I don't care. I think that's hot, or like angry with me that I wasn't posting for a week, was fucking disgusting. These men do not care about you. If you are sending out promos, you get anyone. You do not get to decide whether or not, like, you're not in these men, you're not in their heads. You don't know whether or not they care about you, even if they're saying that they care about you. It's fucking disgusting. And we're selling this as empowerment. That's the problem. If you want to go into sex work after you've weighed everything, honestly, I think that there are some in-person sex work opportunities that are actually very beautiful. If you're a man and you're involuntarily celibate and you don't know what it feels like to be, with a woman, I think that there can be a very beautiful thing in that. And like a woman teaching you how to have sex, letting you touch her, the intimacy that comes with that. I think that's very beautiful. We're just selling it online as empowerment to a bunch of fucking young girls. And I was collateral. And there's going to be so much collateral damage because it's becoming something that fucking Beyonce talks about in a fucking song. Or people like Cardi talk about.
I want to say something real quick. It goes back a little bit to your realization or when you felt like you were woken up by the fact that these people didn't care and just wanted you to get back to work. That's another thing that is not exclusive to OnlyFans or sex work either. Like, I worked for over 10 years in high-level corporations in like upper management positions, and when I was hospitalized for cancer treatment, they were wondering when the fuck I would be back and going back to work.
Oh yeah, but when somebody has seen your butthole, it's a little different.
Any job.
I think when somebody has seen your butthole, it's a little different.
Yes, but I also agree with you.
The capitalist world we live in is going to want you to get back to work as soon as you can, no matter what job you're doing.
And I have critique for a lot of capitalism. And I think that this ties to that. I'm not saying that it's exclusive. I'm not moralizing just sex work. It's just my focus because I've been personally affected by this. I talked to Stephen about this. It's not that I think that this is the biggest problem sweeping the world. I have personal experience. This is the lane that I'm going to stay in. I think that this can be said about a bunch of different things. We know across studies that 47 to 60% of sex workers who engage in sex work have been diagnosed with a mental illness. Hold
on. I'm seriously not trying to shit on anybody here, but aren't the vast majority of sex workers women? And isn't it like 1 out of 6 women have like taken SSRIs? So like, is that even that far off the norm for the population of women?
So when we talk about jobs,
50% is a lot more than 1 in 6.
So when we
I'm
talk
trying to
about
help you.
Jobs, no,
all of this is all just a fucking intervention to help you, Lav. We're all here to support you through your change.
But when so the most dangerous job in the world is logging, and it is significantly lower in mortality and also mental illness. The jobs, so doctors even, it's like significantly lower rates. And we know that those are like extremely high rates.
Though. Like it could just be that mentally ill people are attracted. It could be that mentally
the fact a lot of people go into sex work because they're not able to work what would be considered a normal job. Maybe they have some
made
sort
the
of
argument a billion times. Capitalism is the problem. I literally have talked about this a billion times. I'm trying to just keep it in like a smaller scope so that people don't think that I'm a funky tanky. Okay. I'm not a
But I
tanky.
think maybe we see more people with disabilities or with like a mental health issue in this field because it does allow you more freedom of like scheduling.
It's also why we see more trans women. It's like a pipeline for trans women because they're.
Are you saying trans women are mentally ill?
Obviously. Yes. But also I'm saying that trans women have way less job opportunity because of bigotry. So this becomes like an even more heinous issue. And that was actually my next point, was talking about, trans women. Obviously, that's like a very unique experience because I think
I should make a trans persona named Tucker Carlson.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Thanks for that. Thank you for that one, Max.
You should, and you should fuck
and make an OnlyFans
I've actually got something important to ask. In all seriousness,
and I'll make an
OnlyFans. Important, right?
Okay, here's the question. What's wrong with objectifying women if you're masturbating to them?
True.
Nothing.
As long as you pay me.
I think that there's something that we're ignoring here, and it's the feelings of women. It's feelings.
But it's not, because if you're a woman and you go out and I'm making pornographic pictures, people jerk off to them, and that's the extent of my relationship with my audience. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, my feelings are not hurt by this dynamic. And if anything, I think that like it's like I'm benefiting from this more than my audience.
Because you can have a similar feeling.
Know this going into it. Like I know that's what's going to happen. Like I'm aware of that. I know what the exchange
problem. Even if you think you know that, which I don't believe you when you say that you do, and I think that you'll wake up one day, but that's anecdotal.
Okay,
whatever. I think that there are so many women who are doing this that don't understand, and that's what I'm trying to avoid, right? If you think that you fucking get it, whatever, you guys are complete adults. I don't know how old the youngest of you is, but I assume that you guys are all in your late 20s or 30s, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You say that about one.
So this is the problem, is that I was 17 when I entered this world because I had to. And
I think the issue is that like everything when you come back to this, like people need to be made more aware of things. I don't think anybody here disagrees with you, but you make way stronger statements that it's like always bad. It's always oppressive. It's always participating in the destruction of women. If it's like people need to be made more aware of things, and there are some people that are being exploited, I'm pretty sure every single person is 100% on your side.
In the scope of capitalism is just too good. Women's sexuality in the scope of capitalism is too good.
Listen, I've got a question for you about that. So you think capitalism? You think
still here?
Okay, you think capitalism is the problem? Is that right, Lav?
I think I think capitalism is a big problem.
Well, guess what? I've got the solution. Dark dog warts. Dan, take it away.
Your position just seems to be bouncing. Like a lot of things you're saying are contradicting things that you've said.
No, all of these things can be true at once. The brain is so complex, but this is what I want to portray to people right now.
When you say even if you don't keep this extreme position, what other position would you imagine yourself taking?
Well, I'm never going to go back because of how it affected personally my mental health, and my relationship with my own body.
You're never going to go back to producing porn or to OnlyFans?
To being in the sex work industry in general. But yeah, and I will acknowledge that it was the reason why, another reason why I quit is because I did not, it was a choice at that point. I was already making, you know, I'm already taken care of. I didn't need to put myself in this position anymore. And a lot of people don't have that privilege. Obviously, this is a necessity, which is why capitalism is the bigger issue.
Can I ask how your partner felt about your OnlyFans? Was that an influence at all?
He never cared at all. At all.
Never said.
Did he know, like, right from when you first met that that's what you did, or did you have to reveal it later?
On our second date, or maybe after our first date, I told him, and he was like, "Okay, sick." I think we both grew up in Los Angeles, so it's like, this is what people are doing. If I could snap my fingers and make the whole world look at women as people, I would. But I think that that's not going to happen overnight, and we just need to keep having conversations about this. We need to keep telling women about what they're worth, about their place in society. I didn't even understand feminist theory, and I thought feminist theory was fucking disgusting until like fucking 6 months ago. I like didn't fucking get it. I was like, what are these fucking blue-haired bangs people even talking about? But now I'm like, okay, and now with my own experiences, I'm like, okay, fuck. Like I call this like I woke up. Like I woke up.
I guess what I'm saying is that I feel like if you're trying to escape the problems that OnlyFans was causing you, I don't feel like the place you would go to escape those is to like Twitch, because I feel like you're going to still be around the exact same problems.
So it's not that it's so a lot of my own personal problems with so sex is very important to me. Like I said, I love having sex. Sex is very important to me. My own sexuality is very important to me. So because of this, I think that it was especially important that I had this individual relationship with sex with myself and that I wasn't performing. That's one of my personal reasons of why it was like making me so mentally unhealthy, is because I couldn't have sex with my fiance without fucking thinking about this shit. Like,
you feel like you weren't able to show like sexual acts that you actually enjoyed? Like you don't feel like you could create content that was reflective of
No, but that's not for me.
Like,
that's not for me anymore. Then that's content for someone else. That's not for me.
Like, that's not, like you had to do things that you disliked in order to produce the content.
Even things that I liked, knowing that they liked it, fucking ruined it for me. I was like, this is not mine.
How does that not follow you through all of entertainment, though?
Because sex is to me sacred in the way that I feel like it, because it's something that means so much to me. And also, I think that this is different because I grew up pretty. I grew up very pretty. This has been my value since I was fucking 6. People have sexualized me since I was 6. I've been told literally since I was literally old, before I had boobs, that people are going to be like, that people are going to be knocking down my doors. My parents had to teach me like how to cross my legs, how to talk to men, to be weary of men, to be scared of men constantly. Like I was sexualized since I was fucking 6. My whole life revolves around my sexual value. I had to take it back. For me, and I think this happens to a lot of women.
Do you have a therapist you talk to this about?
Yeah, twice a week.
Gotcha.
Wow, that's a real mood killer.
I think there's this is maybe unrelated. This is something I wrote down. Just there's a bit of an issue when discussing negatives around this stuff. I think it works similarly to it's like a desensitization of talking about negative experiences, in the same way that like if you're constantly like clothed and someone sees you naked one time, it's like a big deal, but after a while it becomes normal. If you talk about like negatives too frequently, I think people will stop listening. I don't know if that makes any sense, but if you're like very, very positive and then you mention like a bad experience, people really give a shit. But if you're constantly being like this, like suck,
I think people are pretty. I think people are listening to me.
Like drone-eyed, if that makes sense.
Wait, what is that? Or what's the relationship to this topic with that? Then?
It was kind of unrelated. Nobody was speaking, so yeah.
No, it's fine.
What is the topic?
Well, no, I tell you what has happened. We've got quite a somber tone. You know, maybe you might call it like a dark tone that we've got on the panel. Kind of making me think about.
I already know where you're going. Just stop. Stop.
Oh my God!
I'll stop when you begin. Go. Dan, go. Do it.
No, I didn't mean to make things somber.
Thank you,
I didn't
Mia.
make.
Thank
I
you
didn't
for
mean
the
to make
donation.
things
It's okay.
somber.
We're gonna
I
get
think that
past
it's
it. I've got
important.
We're
this
gonna
away.
load up
This
the
is gonna
channel
go
No,
with
I think that we should
darkness.
stay here. I think that we should
right.
We
stay
go through
here for
the
a second
darkness
because
to
I
leave
think
the
this is
darkness.
important.
Dan, exactly. We'll stay on this. Dan,
Can I
Dark
move to
Hogwarts.
Can I move? Listen, Dark Hogwarts isn't excited, but we can. I'll bring up another topic, okay?
Why are we afraid to talk about bad feelings? Why are we afraid to talk about something
God
uncomfortable?
damn it, woman! Fucking A! 2 minutes where it's not about you. All right. I have fucking lost my goddamn train of thought.
Are you a sex worker? Make it about you. Make it about dog warts. Go ahead.
Are you putting that word on me? On me about
Dan, just say the topic.
Dan,
just say the
I was
topic.
thinking of. Okay. Mind rape. I want to imagine.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
that everyone in here. Yeah, we're gonna go into mind rape. Oh, I'm sorry. Do we want to all like talk
Wait,
about
actually,
ourselves
no.
a little
Look
bit
at that.
more?
Hold on. Wait. Okay, because hold on. There's actually just a mini topic that I would like to explore really quickly, because if it is true, it's actually a massive thing that's going on right now that I think was actually really interesting. Okay, the vast majority, from my personal understanding, I don't know every OnlyFans girl, but from my personal understanding, the OnlyFans girls I know that are large, the big ones that are DMing guys aren't actually writing those DMs themselves. Is that a form of like rape? Do we all think that? Because if so, or not rape, but at least some kind of like sexually inappropriate activity.
Definitely.
Because I don't know if Miss Genevieve or I don't know Lav, I don't know if you know big OnlyFans girls. Genevieve, do you know? Is it normal for? Do you know larger OF girls that use like managers to basically do?
All of the large, like, very successful creators that I know that I'm personally friends with speak to they answer theirs personally. They do.
Oh, they do theirs personally. Okay, gotcha.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know anyone that does that, but I do know that people do that, and I do know. Yeah, I do know you can pay for services to do that.
Yeah, I know they exist. I know those people have been like approached for that, but they've just declined it.
In chat, hold up. I want you to pay attention to how the women understand what I'm talking about, and Mr. Girl is so avidly. Women understand.
I think Mr. Girl understands this also.
If you're
That's what I'm
saying
trying
that
to
Lav
say.
understands what you're saying,
Yeah,
I think
Lav
that
is
might be
the
an
only one
accurate
here that is-
statement, but you're disregarding the 3 other women on this panel. So why don't you be specific?
I didn't want to hold on. I didn't want to misgender you. You kind of look like a they them with that haircut. So I'm sorry. I didn't want to like just assume. But
my
you were.
God.
You give me they them energy.
I think you're trying to insult me, and that's a really
No, I'm not.
fucking
No,
rude way to
I'm
do
not.
it, so-
I'm not trying to insult
non-binary?
you. It's very woke. If you're not binary, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of. If you're non-binary, that's good. That's very woke.
Wait, but
Yeah,
she just said she just said you're ignoring the other women on the panel. In the process of saying that sentence, gendered herself, then you misgendered her in response to try to get
Well,
her
I
own.
apologize. I'm learning and
Very,
growing. I will not
very
understand that
low,
again.
very ugly behavior, Sneeko.
Oh
Very ugly behavior. Yeah, I
Nobody
watched.
really-
Yeah,
nobody actually thinks I watch
actresses and
Mr. Girl.
accomplished
Okay.
I ain't gonna lie, Mr. Girl, you can get
Mr. Girl thought it was hot and accomplished the same thing. Could they have
That's
used
the
older
real-
actresses and made
okay,
them look
well,
young and accomplished the same effect in the movie?
yeah, or you could have made it an animated movie. It could have been a documentary.
Exactly.
You could have done
we didn't
anything.
Have to shoot the actual children. We could have done it a different way.
No, and you got to think about the.
We needed the children.
Hey,
I missed.
What did
listen,
you do to him,
listen.
Sneeko? What did you do to him?
Sneeko. Okay, the answer is there's nothing gayer than within meeting somebody, within 1 second of meeting them, saying, "I couldn't watch your content because I saw your dick."
Okay, bro.
Okay,
I mean,
so
personally,
yeah,
I
and then you
just- I
start
don't
calling
like
everybody a
what they
pedophile. You're calling everybody gay. Why don't you stay in your
I ain't
lane and
calling
talk
you
about
gay.
your
I ain't calling you gay. I'm just saying my type of content is not centered on your crotch. I
Okay,
just don't wanna
great.
look
So
at your crotch.
you're straight and
Your
you like
name is
adults.
Mr. Girl. I'm just saying it's not about gay. It's about that you creep me out. You are creepy to me. It is what it
You
is. Like,
selected
I'm not
that
gonna
video and
change
clicked on it to watch it. Like, I'm pretty
I'm not
sure
sure.
it had a fucking title.
Yeah, my
the
chat asked me to
zoom in
watch Mr. Girl. They spammed it. I didn't know what it was. I looked it up. I saw your crotch. You were talking about some real shit, but like, why are you putting the camera on your dick? It's not calling you gay. It's
To
just
make a
type
point.
creepy, like that.
To make a point.
Okay,
Right.
bro.
The camera's
To make
so
a point.
close
So
now, man.
wait. So you're saying you can put some creepy shit to make a point? So why are you defending Cutie so much while your dick is center
He's an
camera while you
adult.
talking?
He's
Because-
an adult. Adults
well, because-
can put creepy
because-
shit. Adults
because-
can use their bodies in sexual ways. What we're talking about here is if that's ethical to do with children.
Because my dick
Yeah,
isn't a little
alright.
girl, Sneeko. My dick isn't
Even
a little girl.
Sneeko
That's
doesn't
why.
like. I think that Sneeko. Can you agree that they probably could have done something different or not like gone directly on? But it was more so just like outrage. It was like obviously if there's outrage, people are gonna watch this movie. People are gonna get the message.
Yeah, well, the outrage is why it was so controversial. And unique.
Yes.
The world is controversial right now because the world is full of lies. So it was good.
Yes.
Yes, they could have probably done it differently. But my opinion is that the fact that it triggers so many people says more about the world we live in rather than the content of the movie. If so many people have to look at that and go like, oh, bro, they're little girls. It should not even be attractive to you. You should be able to see the problem and not consider it CP. If you consider that CP, I think that's a you problem. That's basically
also
my
this
point.
shit is happening. Like this shit is literally happening
It's
in real
real.
life. It's like
really
it's
real.
like it's like if you watch, it's like should just because you know, like cows and pigs are getting killed like every single day. It's like, are you gonna say the same thing? Like, why would you show us this? Why would you show us this? It's because it makes you pay attention.
It's not that it isn't an important story to tell or an important impact to highlight, but it could have been done in a different way.
It's a very important movie. And the movie's going to last long.
It could have been filmed in a way that doesn't cause
you're just fucking virtue signaling.
the children involved in the filming.
Wait, I don't think it's.
But the only reason that like any of us are talking about this movie is because of how they filmed it. Like it would have gotten
Absolutely.
No.
If you made a movie, if you made a wait. If you made a movie where you killed people in it, we would be talking about it, right?
I think that other people here are virtue signaling.
Tell me what about this. Tell me what about this stance.
Me? Are you saying that I'm virtue signaling? Is that it? Because I know I ruffle your feathers here. I know you fucking hate me, but just call it out if that's the case.
I don't hate you.
Say it.
I
Say what
think
you
you're
mean.
a victim.
Lav, tell me what you think.
What's so funny, Steve? You're really laughing over there or something.
I agree.
Is what
I'm just
Mr.
agreeing
Girl
with
said
Mr. Girl.
funny?
No.
So you're laughing though. Is there something in particular that's funny about what he said?
Careful.
Maybe you don't
Every
take him
new word you
seriously.
say is another potential to misspeak.
The non-binary joke is pretty funny.
No, it wasn't. It was a
No,
mean
it wasn't.
joke.
It's just shitty. It's just
yeah,
shitty.
it's a literal shitty.
And this is
Oh,
something
so
about
all of a
something
sudden
about Genevieve
transphobia
just makes
isn't
people
funny
be
anymore?
I've never thought
People-
transphobia was
Alchemy
funny.
really triggers
Yeah,
a lot
people-
of other
peop-
streamers.
this is
Like,
the-
I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. I don't feel like I'm trying to, but like, Lav can't fucking handle me. Like, Mr. Fanatic fucking hates me.
People are really mean to you.
You know, like all the Crucible guys. Like, there's something about
You're
me that
naming
really-
like the maddest people on the platform. To be fair, okay. Lab's been pretty mad for the past week. Fanatic is pretty mad.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I'm just Jewish. I'm not mad. I'm just Jewish.
Okay.
And you think I'm an immature victim, but that's a whole nother story.
No, I think most of this is coming from the fact that you are blonde. I am Jewish. It's in my blood. It's in my blood. You look tall. You look tall. You look like Hitler Youth.
I'm
doing my
even
political-
right. More
This is
Jewish than
Jewish.
Mr. Girl.
This is
Jesus
Jewish
Christ.
reparation. This is Jewish
Only
reparation.
ever Jews feel the same.
Wow.
Wow.
So true.
Max, I love our friendship arc. Steve and I love our enemies arc. Madam Genevieve, I love our enemies arc. I'm sorry that I came in so hot.
Honestly, Lav, for real, I think that it would be cool for us to have like a one-on-one conversation where we could actually like discuss things a little bit better.
I agree. I think that I could have done a lot better. I think
I
I
ruined it by being
up?
here.
Aww.
You guys need to talk when I'm not there because I ruined it. I understand.
True. Actually.
You inserting yourself? Did you actually ruin
Max?
it?
I love having you here.
Yeah, I think so. I think excuse you, Steven. I think I bring out a side in Lav that is.
I think over. I think this is our friendship arc. I think.
So you guys gonna be friends now? Is that the whole thing? You thought the end of the panel, like, let's have a chat.
I wanted to have a one-on-one chat with her since yesterday. Like, I just didn't get the chance to DM you yet. And then like I saw this was happening right now, so I thought might as well jump in. But I was thinking like it would be cool to have.
No, to be fair, I definitely instigated.
Wait, real quick. Who was like a real bitch first though? Like, who instigated this fight?
Fully
initially?
me.
Yeah, definitely.
Completely.
I'm gonna say you. Yeah.
I was gonna say though.
Not that I can't also
I'll
be
be
a
right
bitch,
back,
but
everybody.
you kind of instigated the whole thing.
So
sure.
why was she being like that though? Like, for what reason? Was she like jealousy or something else?
She thinks that I'm an immature victim. And a dumb
it's not
slut.
that.
So.
I think I'm just in this state emotionally where like I think I was personally affected by women having positive experiences and talking about them on OnlyFans without talking about the negative experiences. So also, to be fair, I also have mother issues. so
How old do you think I am? I mean, honestly. I know you're younger than I am, but like,
no,
we
my
don't need
brain
to
is
go the
like
whole mommy
16. Oh, also, my mom is a teen mom, so my mom is very young. Like, I think that's my mom is barely 40. So, I think that women who are like not boomer, but like the oldest or mid millennial to oldest millennial, for some reason, really trigger me. That's a personal thing. I'm very sorry. Before we get too much into this, I'm gonna leave.
Okay.
I was great. I would love to talk to you, Madam Genevieve. Max, hope you have a great night. Aof, love you. Great to hear from you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.